Hello and welcome to episode 115 of the Gamers with Lost Mark podcast. I'm your host, Antony and joining me this week, it's one half of the Super Thomas brothers, the baker from Bunnies, and it's Mr. James Thomas.
Hello, Anthony. How are you doing, sir?
I'm not too bad, sir. I'm not too bad. How are you?
Good. Yes, yeah. I think we were just commenting off air that it's been quite a quiet week. I think after the epic recording session of last week, we are. I don't know. It's almost might be a letdown this week. So hopefully we can liven it up with a preview for the year to come and what have you. But yeah, it's been quite. It seems to be like it's the end of Christmas, so everything's sort of coming down. The Christmas tree is now in the loft. I think there's a rogue Lego Christmas decoration somewhere in the living room, but yeah, the festivities are long gone now, it seems.
Yes, we put out a Christmas tree because I think last year was the first year that we got a faux Christmas tree because we realised that as much as we like real Christmas trees, we're both really allergic to them. So we just sit there like streaming noses, sneezing.
But it's tradition, we must have one.
But look at it, it's beautiful. So we bought one for outside, which I can't. The one I've got outside, just outside my front door, I love it. It's so nice, and it's a living Christmas tree. So I've got to plant it in the garden somewhere, and I just don't want to take it away because I love the little corner that it's tucked into and the lights. And Nicola keeps going, "Turn it off, take it down." I'm like, "No, I'm just going to leave it there because it just looks so awesome." So I'm still keeping the spirit of Christmas alive.
I've seen pictures of it, and it does look cute. I'm a big fan of the real Christmas trees as well because they just smell so nice as well. You can get a proper one. They really fill the living room with a great odour. But since we've had the rabbits, we've decided not to get a real Christmas tree. There's too many things that might be nibbled and I don't
swallowed
think Christmas trees are very I don't think they're good for the digestive system of a bunny.
No. Wise move. But yeah, no, we did. I mean, we recorded our epic Game of the Year podcast. Like, it was only Thursday, wasn't it? Last week, Thursday, which is now available on gamerslostspark.com if you haven't already listened to it.
And if you've managed to find this without finding the other one, how did you get here?
Yes. Why did you skip that? Did you just go, another Game of the Year? Yes. But yeah, so that's now available. So it was only Thursday, so no wonder we haven't kind of really done much since then because it was only a couple of days away. But yeah, like just packing Christmas away, which is always like an epic thing. And I put out my my second Xbox One X. I kind of was talking about that and what I've been playing. But so at the moment, because the movie room is still out of action, we kind of put our dual screens in the living room. So while and that's where the Christmas tree has been. So the second TV hasn't been there. So I put that back at the weekend. And the great thing about it was I got to kind of unbox my Xbox One X. It's only being plugged into a 1080p TV at the moment because I'm still trying to I'm struggling to find a small 4K or HDR TV.
Because I think we've discussed it before. They seem to start at 40 inches, don't they? And that's a large TV stuff. That was the first large flat screen I got was 40 inch, and I still look at it fondly, but it ain't a bedroom sized telly, is it?
No. I think max I could be about 36, push it at 38 because when it's down in the movie room, it doesn't look out of place because that's what the room's for. At the moment, it looks a bit weird, but judging from the results that I'm getting from the Xbox One X plugged into a 1080p TV, I'm quite happy with just a HDR only monitor. Yeah. Because I've started to notice, and I need to catch up with Steve because he's kind of inquiring about an Xbox One X and how it works on a 1080p, and I'm really noticing a difference. I had at one point I had Gears of War 4 on the 4K TV and then on the 1080p, and you can tell where HDR is kind of doing the work, but the 1080p one, there's something's happened. You know, it's almost like the way that I explained it to Nicola was that on your regular Xbox, it's trying to get up to 60 frames a second and 1080p, where on the Xbox One X it's beyond that, so it's just dropping down to that resolution, and it kind of makes everything smoother and faster. And because we're both sitting there going, that definitely looks different, that definitely looks shinier, that definitely looks smoother, and it's definitely quicker. So I was actually seeing kind of what Microsoft have been saying about where you don't need a 4K TV right now because this will actually kind of give you some improved results.
Yeah, I've seen that at work, that it definitely gives it a bump. But it's one of these situations that I really, and I don't think I'm ever going to be in the position to be able to do this. I want 3 in a row. I want an Xbox on a 1080. I want an Xbox X on a 1080, and I want an Xbox X on a 4K. Like paused, or just like somewhere static in a Halo or an Assassin's Creed or a Hitman, and I just want to stare at them all. Like when Matt came over and we played Destiny 2 together, we had the tellies side by side pretty much, and you could definitely tell the difference. Like, and this was obviously Destiny didn't have the 4K patch then, so I guess it was the upscaled version of that. But I just almost want a scientific set of conditions. I want the same TV set up to the same brightness and contrast, and just get analytical all over this.
Yes. Well, it's quite interesting because I've actually got, in the house, I've got 3 Sony TVs. So I've got the 1080p that I'm using that's down in the it was in the movie room that's now in the living room. And then when we moved up to the living room, we had a 1080p TV, and Nicola was like, it was the first time she'd ever said this. She goes, "No, we need a 4K one there because we're all used to that shininess." So we went out and bought one, which I've told the story of on this pod. So I've actually got 3 Sony TVs, and I have 2 Xbox One X, an Xbox One S, and an original Xbox in the house right now.
I mean, it feels like this is we need an intervention for you at some point in time.
I need to stop buying TVs and Xboxes.
We've come together because we care for you, and we want you to know you have a problem.
It's just, and it's really funny because this week, I don't know if you've noticed, it's probably hard not to notice, but CES is on at the moment in Vegas, which is a consumer electronics show. And I love my RSS feeds at this point because there's so much bonkers news that's coming out. You know,
what do you want to choose from? You've got what was it? Was it the Samsung TV? Because they've been talking about these for a while, but a TV that you can roll up and put away, so you can make more space for guests.
Yes.
Because I often think, yes, you could sit on my TV cabinet when I'm running out of seats. Then there's the 8K content, which makes my tiny heart bleed. Because let's get settled. Let's get settled with some nice 4K stuff before we start leaping any further at that point. But I mean, I guess the CES, there's always going to be the vanity projects like you get with the car shows. You always get the concept cars or the weird things that look like they're from Blade Runner that could never actually go over a speed bump down Nuneaton's main roads. It's there to show off, I guess, to get advertisers in, to get yourself the headlines. But it just does make me worry that no one's ever happy. No one's ever happy with the shiny things they have, and they always want more.
I thought we would get to 4K, and we wouldn't pause because obviously it's continual iteration, but I thought we would get to that point where we wouldn't start talking about 8K so quickly. You know, we still haven't got a 4K channel. You know, in the US, apart from iTunes and Netflix and Amazon, there isn't. I didn't see, or I haven't heard on any podcast like HBO being 4K. The last season of Game of Thrones was not 4K, so there's still a lot of catching up to get there. You know, the consoles have just got there. There's still so I know 8Ks, you always have to kind of look to the next thing, but it's just a little bit too soon. You know, it's a little bit too soon. Yeah,
but you can really see why the digital content pushers, to put them in a bucket, are pushing this, because I guess over the air TV, it can just about do HD. I mean, I wouldn't like to say what the Freeview standard is. I'm going to guess it's 720, 1080p max or 1080i, but I can't imagine how so many places that are just pushing out over, I guess, normal cable boxes that would need to be upgraded, or the skies could cope with 4K at this point in time. So you can see why they might not be bothering, but then again, the after-sales market for Blu-rays and UHDs and stuff, you think they'd actually be investing in the future in this?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, because obviously with Sky, you've got Sky Q, which has ultra-high definition, but it's not actually kind of 4K, but at the same time, it's over the air, but you have to have that Sky Q box plugged into or connected to the network, so it's whether you get a top-up from both and whether it's coming kind of over the air, and then you also get a bit... Is it
the kind of thing that takes up, like, 2 channels? Because I'm sure I heard this of a previous way of, I can't remember where it was, but like when HD first came over, airwaves. Something. It was like, okay, you can have HD, but we've got to remove a couple of channels because it'll take up the bandwidth of 2 or something. And
wow.
I
don't think it's that kind of I think they've kind of rolled on since then. But it's just the fact that the only way that you can get that Ultra HD content is via your Sky Q box, and Sky Q box always needs connection to the internet. So whether it just kind of comes that way, but it's it's not too bad. It's like if you want to watch an Ultra HD movie on Sky, you just kind of start it downloading, and probably within about 15 minutes, or not even that, even quicker sometimes, it's ready to roll. It's ready to roll.
That takes me back. I'm sure I did that when the Xbox 360 started streaming HD content. I can remember Ali and I very eagerly downloading the first Harry Potter.
Right.
And we basically we tried to watch the first 5 minutes, and we went, nope, this is like, you can watch
Buffering.
10 seconds, then wait 5, wait to watch it. So it's like, let's go off, let's finish tea, and then we'll come back, and 20 minutes, half an hour later, you could just buffer and watch the entire thing. But,
yes. I still do that on iTunes. I kind of start so we say, right, okay, we'll watch a movie. I press play and then pause, go down, get a drink, get settled, and then I'm kind of happy that it's never going to do that. Even though we've got like 65 meg download, it just seems that sometimes if you try and just go for it, it just kind of has problems.
I guess it's
sometimes.
not always your pipe; it's the other end as well. But,
exactly.
But I guess speaking of displays. Friend at work who is involved in the PC side of development a bit more. He has got a ridiculous monitor this week that is causing everyone to be green with envy. I think it's 36 by 9.
Right.
It looks like it's 3 normal monitors side by side, but with just the frames taken out and them all glued together. It is absolutely insane. It's the most ridiculous monitor I've ever seen in my life, but it looks very nice.
That sounds
when the
cool.
game's running on that, it's something to behold. Like, you have to. It's one of those. I don't know if you've ever played Forza with three monitors or anything like X-Wing 3 monitors, where you have to literally turn your head the entire way around to see the HUD on one side, and then go, okay, what's the revs, and then turn all the way around to the other.
That sounds
it's
so
immersive,
cool.
But for an uninitiated UI, like some of the things we've been playing on it, it's ludicrous.
You can imagine the justification of trying to get that. You got to see it go, well, I really need to test our game on that screen. So it's just, oh my god, that sounds so cool. I have been looking at monitors because, like I say, monitors seems to be the only thing that I can get that's small form factor and like 4K or Ultra HD. But at the moment, I'm kind of not really seeing both. I'm not seeing a decent size and 32 plus that does both. But I was hoping that maybe something might come up in CES, that there might be something that's kind of LG are doing some, and so I'm still kind of waiting for these announcements.
Yeah, I think if it comes up in CES, it'll either be expensive or out in 2 years' time. So
yes.
You might be waiting a little longer still.
Indeed. But then when Nicola's playing, especially when the movie room's back up and running, when she's playing games on the kind of big 4K TV, and I'm just relegated to that little TV, I'm like, raw.
Things we do for love.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's jump into what we've been playing. What have you been playing this last couple of days?
I dived back into Lego Dimensions at the weekend.
Okay.
So I think I mentioned last week I'd been playing through the Ghostbusters storyline on it. And I think I undersold how long it was as well. Like, listening back to the pod, I think they condensed the movie down into what must have been like 45 minutes to an hour's worth of playtime. So it actually turned out to be quite nice. But after that, because I think we're on the last boss battle when we recorded, so I'd missed this bit out. But you finish the last boss battle and you get dumped out into a mini New York City.
Oh, wow.
So... yeah, Ali and I spent a good couple of hours just roaming around this ghost-infested Lego town. It was quite good. You get to go into the art museum to go and see Vigor the Carpathian sticking out from his painting, demanding some dancing toasters. You get to go down to the River of Slime. You get to go around and see the Titanic coming. It was just really nice because I think I just accepted that even if it was just this single Ghostbusters mini mission, this homage to the movie, I was okay with that. So when this surprised me and jumped out, I was like, this is really nice. This is a really nice little touch to it all. And since talking to Steve and people, I think this is something that's standard, and I just missed off the back of the box. But it means those sets are far better value than I thought they were. I thought it was just like, here's a few levels and done, and here's a minifig and you'll be happy with that. But yeah, we're looking forward to trying to break out some of the Harry Potter ones that Ali have got now, because if we can just wander around a nomad version of New York as well. Yes. So it's really cool, really cool.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah. Apart from that, we were actually sent a review code for a game called Albert and Otto that I was playing through as well. And cards on the table, I had never heard of Albert and Otto before we got the communications through. But I was pleasantly surprised. So Albert and Otto is a Limbo-like. I don't know if this is a genre, but we're going to make this up now. So it's a 2D puzzle platformer, and it's very stark. So most of it is like white, bright colours, walking along grayscale backgrounds, and you have the Limbo style effects of close-up leaves or caves or things just poking into the very foreground to obscure some of where you're walking. And it's the tale of a lad named Albert. I forget the name of his sweetheart, who I think he's off to rescue. But he's off to rescue her with the help of a tiny red bunny called Otto.
Right.
And I think this is why you immediately sent it in my direction, because not only has it got bunnies in it, but there's sheep later on as well.
Yes.
It's like the perfect storm for me. So it's very Limbo-like in the sense that you are just going from left to right, trying to traverse the environment. But what I was impressed with was actually the puzzles they put in are actually really, really, really fun.
Right.
Because I often think that once you've almost pigeonholed a game and going, okay, it's like this, there's a level of expectation that's probably dropped down a bit. But this exceeded it in terms of keeping me interested. Like there were various puzzles involving a lot of powers where I guess putting things on blocks and trying to get through gates, very Limbo-like. But then all of a sudden your rabbit develops telekinesis and also the ability to spark electricity. And it's almost like every 20 minutes or so, it gives you a slight new power to then play with and then mix up in all the little puzzles. So yeah, you have telekinesis where you can lift up rocks and try and drop them around things, or move boxes to give you access to higher levels. Then the bunny appears to have the weight of a small concrete elephant, because that can be used to trigger weight traps or triggers. But it just all comes together in these really surprisingly nice set of puzzles and adventures through it all. It's relatively short as well. I think I managed to get through it in about 90 minutes or so, but it was actually, it didn't outstay its welcome. It kept itself ticking over right till the end. And if you're looking for something to fill a couple of hours, I could think of worse things to do. I mean, it lacks a certain level of polish that I think you can see with games made with a larger team, because this does look like a very small indie operation, so I tip my hat to them for that. But it's good. The one big caveat I would say to it is it does seem to have tonal issues.
Right.
Because they actually set the story up as if your love interest has some sort of strange psychic powers or some sort of powers, and I guess this is how the bunny gets imbued with them. And it goes into this sort of it looks like it might be set against a wartime Germany setting. And so it tries to paint this very monochromatic. There's problems with the world. There's problems with your fiance, your love interest, and then you have to set a sheep on fire to see yourself through a dark cave. And honestly, when I got there, I was just like, you're not. There was the sheep barring,
yeah,
and there was a campfire next to it, and you're just looking for the sheep, to the campfire. It's like, no, you really can't be asking me to do this. The cry the sheep gives out when you set it alight is actually really quite disturbing. So, I mean, it's an interesting puzzle.
Yes.
But I would say the framing for it is very incongruous with the rest of the game itself. So, yes. Yeah. All in all, I had fun.
Yes.
But slightly disturbed.
left it feeling slightly disturbed. So do you control Otto, the rabbit? Do you actually take control of that, or are you just controlling Albert all the time?
So you're controlling Albert, and then you can pick Otto the bunny up.
Right.
And then you sort of carry him around, and while you're carrying him, you have those powers. But as soon as you put him down for, as I say, like to use his weight on a trigger or something like that, or there's a few nifty bits area where you get to use physics and just let Otto slide down and past little buzzers and buttons you have to use his electricity for. But then you lose the power. So again, it gives them nice scope to try and, I guess, balance. Well, you felt superpowered, but you just had to put your superpower down, so try and mix it up. So it gives them some scope to play with it, yeah.
Oh, that sounds really good. Like you say, it was only about 90 minutes. I think it came out today, didn't it? I think it came out today on Xbox, PlayStation 4 and PC.
Yes, it did, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm reasonably impressed. I think there's a second part coming out soon as well, because it definitely did not conclude its story by the end of it.
Right. Oh, fantastic. Superb.
Current. Yes, I see as well from your Xbox feed, and in fact our chat last night, that you have finally been trying to catch up with Life is Strange as well.
I really have, yes. I really have. What I'm trying to do at the moment is I'm trying to clear the decks of those things that I really need to play. Like I want to sit down and play Assassin's Creed. After hearing kind of how you were waxing lyrical about it last week and sticking it in your top 3 for 2017, like I said on the pod, I have it. It was a Christmas present, and I really want to just kind of get everything else out of the way. So I want to be of clear mind, and I'm not just saying I want to get Life is Strange out of the way because I'm really enjoying playing it, but I just want to get Life is Strange, and I want to finish off Wolfenstein, and I aim to do those before the weekend, so I can then at the weekend have a serious kind of session and get into Assassin's Creed. But yes, so I've been playing Life is Strange. So I've got to the end of episode 2 of Life is Strange. I've just started episode 3. It was quite funny because Nicola was watching something and I was playing on the smaller TV, and then she finished whatever she was watching and she said, I'm going to go to bed. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll jump to the big TV. Went to big TV, and like a rookie, I hadn't downloaded episode 3 of there. And I was just like, oh, damn it. So I just had to then download like 6 gig. I should have just swapped out. Later on, when it was at like 5 gig, I thought, oh, I should have just taken out the hard drive of the other Xbox and I would have done it that way. So I'm just like, you're an idiot, Chesson. So I started playing it last night. It was getting late and I needed to go to bed, but I finished episode 2, which was amazing. The Tempest scene in Life is Strange was just so good, and it was so it's had such an impact. You know, the whole second half of episode 2 was really kind of just amazing. I was totally taken along for the ride, similar to the original game as well.
Yeah, as episode 2, I thought is one of the strongest ones in the entire franchise. I for the most part, this continues to episode 3 without spoiling it. I think what they have done with the relationship between Chloe and Rachel is superb. Mm-hmm. I think you and I have occasionally exclaimed that, you know, we are basically like tiny teenage girls squealing over an episode of Dawson's Creek to date ourselves somewhat. But the character and the lines and just the subtlety and the natural nature of their relationship, as far as I'm concerned, is absolutely wonderful. And I know there's been a few comments because this got released just before Christmas, so I think a lot of the media sites haven't really covered it. And you can see there's a moderate amount of criticism that's come out since Christmas about the voice acting and the general polish that isn't quite there with this, but I don't think it harms the story at all. Just the main characters are so well realised.
Absolutely. And I did notice last night when I was firing it up that it's appearing in the Xbox One Enhanced section as well.
Yes.
So whether it got a bit of a 4K bump or something, so...
It has, yeah. You can either get it to run, I think it's the usual trade-off, you can either have the frame rate or you can have the pixels.
Right. But it's just, I mean, I think for the bonus episode, which comes out soon, they've got the original cast back, haven't they? They've got the original cast doing that.
Yeah, the voice actor strike, I think, ended before they recorded that. So it's going to be curious, because I guess I had not forgotten what Chloe had sounded like, but... forgive me, I can't remember the voice actor from Before the Storm, but she seemed to do a good Chloe.
Yes.
Like it wasn't Ashley Birch, but it was a good Chloe.
No, absolutely. In my head, it just feels like the same person. It feels like the same character. I'm not like, oh, this sounds different. It really does. Just for me, it just matches beat for beat when I was playing Life is Strange, the original Life is Strange. So I haven't really noticed it that much. And this is definitely one that I listen to with headphones as well. So I was playing it for a bit because I'm trying to get Nicola to play this, and she listens to it, and I'm just like, don't listen to it because it will spoil the game. You need to make your own, Chloe. And so I've been playing it with headphones, and I still haven't even noticed it, even with that closeness of sound. So it's quite interesting. I didn't mention it last week, just a side tangent, but that's kind of one of my gaming resolutions for this year, is to start listening to games more. Because what I'm doing at the moment is I find myself listening to podcasts a lot when I'm gaming.
You monster.
I know, and I'm reading subtitles. So I'm not like Mario, apart from New Donk City, I pretty much the entire time was on the train listening to podcasts. So
I don't know. Well, I guess with something like Mario, and this isn't continuing my digs at Mario, but I guess Mario is such a it's a comfort game, isn't it? That you don't go to it for the story or the narrative or not necessarily the soundtrack. So I can see how with Mario you can get by with maybe a podcast in one ear or what have you, but I can't do it. Any other time I either find that I'm not listening to the podcast or I'm not paying attention to the musical or the audio cues in the game itself. It just tears me apart at that point.
Yes. So that's one thing that I'm definitely kind of rectifying. That I can make time for the podcast that I need to. Like Forza's a good example. You don't need to listen to Forza. You know what a car revving sounds like, so that's fine. But when I come to story-driven narrative games, I want to stop destroying these games by listening to people kind of moaning about maybe that game that I'm playing kind of in my ear. So I'm that's one of the things I'm going to do, is I'm going to be listening to games more, and things like Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda and things like that. All of those, a lot of the time, I just maybe started just to kind of hear what Aloy sounds like, but after that, it was just either music or a podcast. So I'm that's one of my resolutions to rectify, or not resolutions, just things I'm doing wrong to rectify. Just stop doing that.
Years worth of bad habits to shake out of you, though.
Exactly. It's just because the amount of podcasts that I'm listening to has just grown, and I think and my travel has decreased. So the time I'm listening to it, so that kind of, it's almost like I'm trying to fit two things in at once.
Ali and I occasionally get to that point as well, because we both have our own set of podcasts, and we've almost got this mutual understanding that, like, okay, it's housework time.
Yes.
Everyone put their podcasts on, and you can just go around the house just mindlessly doing what you need to, cleaning out the bunnies, hoovering, whatever, and no one's going to say that you're being antisocial. You just need to get through your podcasts.
Absolutely, that's what I do. I do that all the time. I'm just there. If I'm cooking or if I'm kind of like cleaning up or whatever, headphones are on. I've got like wireless headphones, so I don't even need my phone anywhere near me. So I'm just like walking around the house, and it's just funny. Nicola will start talking to me at one point, and I'm like, "These are sound counselling, and I can't hear you." And then I walk away, and she hits me. But yeah, so that's one of the things. So Life is Strange. So like I say, I started playing episode 3. I hope to be finished that kind of in the next couple of evenings, and I'm really looking forward to it.
We need to talk over Skype as soon as you've done that.
Right.
Manny finished yesterday, I think it was.
Yes.
And I was like, you're supposed to be helping me in the kitchen. It's like, Manny's just finished before the storm. I need to talk to him about this. I need this.
I've waited so long, but yeah, though, absolutely, and it's just it's getting to that point where you can just feel that there's big things are happening, and it is just, and I love it. And one of the things that did make me chuckle, and I kind of sent the message out in our WhatsApp group, was that at the moment, there's only 3 people or 2 people on my friends list that are playing this, and that's yourself and Manny. And at the moment, we're 100% on all of our decisions.
It doesn't continue like that.
Oh, really? So, you and Manny have... okay.
The interesting was, and we were very much talking riddles around this.
Yeah.
We both talked out our decisions, and both of us went, I can see how you got there.
Right.
And it actually made me appreciate the final episode a little more, because I think, as you said towards Nicola playing it, like, you want her to paint her vision of what Chloe is to her.
Yes.
And so talking to Manny about where his Chloe went and where my Chloe went, or how they interpreted the events that unfolded, it's like, Okay. Okay, it's just like a slight alternative universe, and it made it far more than the binary choice that some of these decisions are. It's like, okay, you chose that reason.
Yeah.
So on the stats it's 50-50. But actually deep down there's a lot. Okay, there's nuances there. You've got a deep Chloe there.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I just want to play that now. I'm off. Right, bye. It did make me chuckle in the episode that there was the part where she dyes her hair blue.
Yes.
And she dyes her hair blue with pirate dye. At that point, surely you, who used to have blue hair, you must have chuckled. I was just thinking, I bet Thomas chuckled at this point.
I even called Ali over, going, Ali, look what she's doing. It's like, it's you!
You are Chloe.
I am Chloe.
But
I don't think I can pull off the vest tops, but we'll see.
No, those skinny jeans. Anyway, so that was kind of Life is Strange episode 2. So I'm going to jump into episode 3. And then I realised as well, when I was kind of looking through the games that I've also got Batman, the Telltale Batman. I've got a couple of episodes of that, and I've also got a couple of episodes of Guardians of the Galaxy as well. So I've got some more. I've got some more story stuff that I can kind of jump into. But like I say, next up for me is definitely Assassin's Creed. That's the one I want to jump into at the weekend. And then speaking of the weekend, on Saturday night I jumped into PUBG with Manny and Chris. So we kind of jumped in and had a couple of games of PUBG, and it was absolutely fantastic because, again, it's looking better. It's getting some patches. Some things are definitely improving in the world of PUBG on Xbox One. One thing that really made me laugh, we had an extra person, so we had an extra kind of rando in, and so this person kind of jumped into the game. We weren't talking to him at all. So there was Manny, Chris, and myself, and so we weren't talking to him. He wasn't he wasn't on chat, but he joined I think 2 games, and it was just fantastic because we landed and he landed with us and he was in our group. And we just expected him just to go off. And suddenly we heard the car, and he'd found a car, and we just expected him just to go off into the distance.
But then suddenly he just drive up and went burp, burp?
He did exactly that. Suddenly we heard like burp, 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 and we were just taken back. And even though we weren't communicating with him at all, he just stuck around. And in the end, I think we all died, and he got us to 3rd. So he got us to 3rd because when you're in a group, we could have potentially, we were close to a chicken dinner, but he got us to 3rd.
Very good. Is that the highest you guys have been?
Yes, I think I was 3rd once. I think the highest I've ever been is 3rd. I think that's kind of my, and it was just really cool just to have this extra player, and he stuck around for a couple of games, and I think we got booted out. Something happened, and then we got booted out, and then we kind of when we went back, he was gone. He wasn't no longer in that group, so we had another rando that just that walked away or jumped into our car, I think.
Nice. So how are you finding it? You said last time that you were tending towards more the group play. Has your skill, has your subtlety developed since last we spoke?
I had my first game, I think we played about 4 games. So I joined late because we were watching Baby Driver because Nicola hadn't seen it, but I'd watched it, but she hadn't seen it, so we were watching Baby Driver, so I jumped in a bit late. So I had about 4 or 5 games, and the first game, all I had was a handgun, which really annoyed me. I could not find a weapon, but I think later games I was tooled up and I felt much better, and it feels like a game I should be playing more on my own, so I can just make sure that I don't pull the team down, but it's definitely a game that I prefer to play as a group because it's just a lot more fun. The hilarious thing is, and Manny won't mind me kind of shaming him on the pod, is that we were watching Manny. He was last man standing of our group, and so we were watching him, and we try not to go, oh, they're over there, because you don't want to kind of make that person tense. So Manny, I'm spectating Manny, and I thought that there was a car zooming around. Manny was hidden behind a tree, and that man can just turn into a bush on the wink of an eye. I have never seen someone be able to just hide and camouflage as good as Manny. And we'll talk about it when he's on the pod next. And then, so he's behind a tree, and there's this car circling around, and I thought he was looking at the car, but this car starts coming towards Manny, and then he just runs over Manny, rams him out the way, and Manny was just like, because he was looking the other way, and this car was like behind him, and he was just like, I think he was really gutty because he was down to third as well. But it was so much fun. But it was really good. Just when you're dead, you just get to spectate your guys. You can jump into another one, but you obviously, because you're in a team, you're just there kind of spectating, and it's just good fun. It really is. It's quite nice to just kind of jump in and play like that.
It definitely still seems like a game that I would have far more fun watching.
Yes.
Because the tension might kill me.
But it's good, like I say, when you're on your own, that you are, especially when you're getting below 20, that it really does ramp up. But when you're in a group, it's so much nicer. You know, you just feel like, you know, the other with Chris and Manny, you know, it just felt like we were really kind of, you were safe in numbers. You know, we're all in a car, hanging out the car, shooting. It was just really, it turned it into...
Just imagine the Beach Boys on the radio, just going for a little bit of a drive.
Yeah. It was really cool. It was really cool. Apart from, and it was just good fun. It was just really good fun. And we did find a buggy. We found a buggy that has a seat on the back, so you can basically just like have someone sitting on the back with a machine gun, and you can just drive around in a buggy. It's just too much fun. But yes, so I really.
So were you playing this on the? Because he mentioned it earlier. So were you playing this on the X?
Yes.
At 1080.
No, X 4K.
Okay.
So this was X on the big screen, and yeah, so it looks really good. Like I say, the HDR seems to be a bit of a mess still, but it's getting better. It's definitely getting better.
Nice.
So yes, so we were talking that we need to get kind of you and Matt to try and join. We need to kind of coax you over to Murder Island.
I think I am disappointed because I guess the lack of a demo is really putting me off right now, because I think, given how I've bounced off a few things in the last year, especially multiplayer games, like I tried Overwatch. It was fun, but the online nature just put me off. I tried ARMS. The online nature put me off of the depth there, and so I know I would enjoy it, but I just don't know if I'd £35 enjoy it for the amount of hours that I've put in it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, no, I totally... Because it's just one island at the moment. You know, okay, you get to go to different parts of it, but you are just kind of doing the same thing. You know, after kind of 4 or 5 matches, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm happy to call this a day. But then kind of a couple of days later, I'm itching to kind of get back in again. So, it's... So it definitely has a pull, but it's something that's hopefully going to improve.
Cool.
So that's it. That's what I've been playing. Like I say, I've been playing some kind of going back through the back catalogue, you know, looking at Forza Motorsports, at 4K on the Xbox, just kind of going through lots of games, and I did just find myself going, "Ooh, I'll play this," and "Ooh, I'll play that." I started playing Slime Rancher at one point.
Slime Rancher?
Yes.
Was that one of the games for gold or something like that?
It was either a game, yeah, it must have been, because I've got it on my hard drive. My nephew, Ed, he recommended it. He went, you need to play this. So I was just looking through kind of all of the enhanced games, and Slime Rancher is a 4K HDR game, and it's really interesting. You start building, you have to build farms, you have to collect slimes, and then you have to put them in pens, and then you feed them, and then when you feed them, they kind of poop out stones, which you then have to go and put into a machine, and then you have to start building more and more kind of different patches and farms. It's a bit of a farming simulator. And he was like, well, if you like Stardew Valley, you'll really like this. And he was right. I was like, I'm playing too much of this. I need to see what the next... I just wanted to see what things were like on 1080p on the Xbox One X. But, you know, Slime Rancher was an interesting one.
Cool.
So, yes, that's it. That's me for this week.
Wow, yeah, I think after our outpouring of joy for 2018, we're just trying to, I guess, catch up with what we've played before, or just have a breather.
Yes, indeed. There's still no sign of that Nintendo Direct that we were talking about, is there either?
Oh, no, actually, you might tell me off now, but... Oh, no, sorry, that was it's still... oh, my word, the amount of fake tweets around this I got drawn into earlier. So I was like saying, yay, tomorrow, Thursday, they're announcing the matchups for the London NFL games. I was like, yes, that'd be cool. We can can figure out who's going to what have you. And then someone tweeted something about, yeah, there's a Nintendo Direct as well, but it turned out to be fake. And I've just been almost lured in by another one.
Right.
I'm basically seeing any Nintendo livery on Twitter and going, oh no.
Trying to get that breaking news. News.
Checking. No, still no. I'll give you updates every 5 minutes.
Okay.
Nothing just yet.
Keep an eye on Nintendo of America.
We did receive something since last week, though. Before we jump into the news, we had some feedback from Adam, who wrote into feedback@gamersoftheLostSpark.com, just like you can. So please send us any emails, any questions that you'd like us to answer as well. But Adam wrote... hello to you fine collection of dudes.
I like that.
Adam from Bournemouth here. I think I now need to state how long I've listened for and for my frequency of writing in. Just want to say thanks for the fantastic, or as Anthony says, awesome Game of the Year podcast. It was the perfect way to start my week back at work and now want Sunshine for Life as my ringtone. Sidebar, I still can't believe you left that in, but thank you. Quick question following on from the latest podcast. Which games in 2018 are you most looking forward to? Cheers, and here's to another year of the Sparks, Adam Bryan. Thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you very much, Adam.
So yes, which games of 2018 are you most looking forward to, sir?
So I had a long think about this. So this is kind of what I've done. Is these are games that are already kind of out there. They've either been shown at E3, they've been shown at Gamescom. They actually exist. It's just like they
actually exist. So to continue with my joke from that, there's no Shenmue.
No.
There's no Final Fantasy.
No.
Okay, right.
so there's that, or no. Well, we'll get to one in a moment. So I think for me, I kind of put it down to 3. So the 3 games that are piquing my interest, of course, apart from Sea of Thieves, which March 20th,
contractually obliged to say.
Contractually obliged to say Sea of. No, I can't wait for Sea of Thieves. Because Sea of Thieves March 20th. But apart from that, my 3 that I've listed are Spider-Man. The Insomniac Spider-Man. I just think this is going to be, at the moment, my poor PS4 is just sitting over there unplugged and unloved. So this is going to be the game that, there's actually 2 games on my list that are going to be me firing up my PlayStation 4 again. And that's Spider-Man from Insomniac and also Ni no Kuni 2. The kind of Studio Ghibli kind of looking kind of game. Yeah. So those 2 I'm definitely looking forward to. So they're really kind of big ones. The Spider-Man game, we're still not 100% sure when it's coming out, but I have noticed on Twitter some of the people from Insomniac that I follow have been taking builds home. So they've got it on their cross-media bar. They're kind of tweeting out, "Oh, I'm playing this tonight," and they've got Spider-Man on their cross-media bar. So that's got to be a good sign that's getting along. It's getting there, that it's getting close to maybe kind of being a stable version that they're going to release. So we still don't know what it is or how much gameplay quick time events, but this is something that stylistically looks amazing. It looks incredible. It reminds me a bit of Batman, of like Arkham Knight. I'm a big comic book fan. I love Spider-Man, so it's all those stars aligning, and this is definitely kind of one of the highlights for me.
Yeah, I'm looking at the because we've got a rough list of everything expected out this year. I think they're penciling in for the first half of this year anyway, so
right. You
could see this being a good summer blockbuster.
You really could, especially with Infinity War coming out as well.
Yeah, so the unofficial game of the other movie that led into this. Yes. If they nail the swinging around the city, the combats, you can see it just being a very simple, joyful game. Like there's so many other things on these lists that we've created that could be as complicated as all hell. But this I just happily roam around beating up some bad guys. If you get that sense of freedom, exploration, and I guess just the verticality that you'd hope for a spider swinging through a city.
Absolutely, leap up on some water towers. That's me sorted for a Friday night. So, and then obviously Ni no Kuni 2. It's such a shame that I haven't finished the original Ni no Kuni. I know these are different stories, but in kind of in the same world. But it's such a shame that I never finished it. And it's really funny because I gave my PlayStation 3 away to a hospital, to a charity with all the games, and I left Ni no Kuni because I was thinking we'll have backwards compatibility one day on PlayStation 4. But then I opened up the case the other day and the disc is not there, so the disc must have been in the PlayStation 3 that went off to that hospital. So so I could go and get it from CEX or something like that. But I never finished the original Ni no Kuni, but I'm really looking forward to Ni no Kuni 2.
Right, I dabbled with Ni no Kuni 1 because the art style.
Yes.
And the Welsh fairy, I forget his name. That he was just incredible.
Drippy.
That was it. Oh,
he was awesome. It was
beautiful. I think Ali and I were just walking around the house just making Welsh noises for most of that week when we were playing it. Sadly, at the end of the day, it was a JRPG, and so as soon as I got to the grindy part, I bounced off.
Yes.
There were too many random battles, too much friction for me continuing. So I might see how you fare with this before leaping in. But at the very worst, I'm going to watch on YouTube a rip of all these cinematics.
Yes, yeah, and that's it, and that's exactly kind of what you do. But the Ni no Kuni just felt like you were playing a Studio Ghibli movie, and this looks like more of the same from what we've seen so far. It just looks absolutely kind of more of the same. And then the last one from me is Jurassic World Evolution.
Oh yes.
So I just think this is going to be amazing. This is coming to Xbox and PlayStation 4, I think, and maybe PC. But this is kind of it's like a Sims Jurassic World, isn't it? It's just it just looks incredible.
Dino theme park. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Because then there was, what was there? Operation Genesis on the original Xbox and PlayStation 2?
Was there?
I'm sure there was like I never played it, but I think there was some sort of dodge. It wasn't dodge. It just wasn't very good park building simulator.
Right.
But just looking at the pedigree of the studio behind this and what is possible, I'm rubbing my hands with glee with this one. So, I mean, to be honest, from what I've seen in the trailer, it's probably better than the film. So
yes.
Sorry, go.
No, after you. No,
I was going to rant about the trailer. Why are there explosions in this dinosaur film? It's like they've seen everything else. I like Jurassic Park because it wasn't superheroes and aliens and robots, and yet the entire trailer explodes. Anthony, please explain to me why.
It's a volcano. They haven't done volcanoes before. Are you still going to go and see it though?
Oh hell yes!
Yeah, there's some good bits in the trailer when you kind of there were some good moments in that trailer, like some good kind of cinematic kind of moments. But yeah, it just I actually enjoyed the latest one, the
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World. I watched that the other day. It was on Sky, and I just sat there and it just started, and I just ended up watching the whole movie, and I was like, yeah, this is great. This is good.
It was completely passable. Although the main dinosaur, the Indominus Rex.
Yes.
It's just give me a break.
Yes.
But someone said like if you want to go back and you want to enjoy it, just imagine Chris Pratt is actually playing Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec playing the paleontologist trainer.
That's just so
and
cool.
It just adds another level of enjoyment because this is Andy Dwyer's just fantasy run through like he's Burt Macklin. So next time I watch it, I'm just gonna have that running through my head.
Yes, and the thing that annoys me the most is that Bryce Dallas Howard it has high heels on the entire time.
Oh, honestly, Ali has no time for that film at all.
Yes.
As soon as that happened, it's like, you stupid woman.
Yes, there are gift shops all around that are open and been smashed by dinosaurs. You would just go in and just grab yourself a pair of jogging bottoms and a pair of trainers. Surely you're not going to run around.
Flip flops would probably be better. At least they're flat.
Yes, good, well done whoever made those shoes. They didn't break at all.
Yeah.
So,
I think we're getting further and further.
Sorry, yes,
away.
we are.
So
what games? Sorry, keeping on to Adam's great email. What games are you looking forward to in 2018? What's kind of piqued your interest?
So, Jurassic World Evolution was going to be on my list, and had a gander through, and I've pulled out 5 that have piqued my interest for various reasons. The first up is Monster Hunter, which is
interesting.
it's. I have never really played a Monster Hunter. I think a lot of the time they've been on platforms that I just haven't want to spend a lot of time with. So I guess like the PSP or was it the last one was on the Wii U? I didn't want to spend a lot of time with those systems for a game like Monster Hunter.
Right.
But with this coming out on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox, and coming out this month when it's still relatively quiet, I do think if I've got a free weekend when it comes out, that I will probably jump in and have a gander. Because almost like my Jurassic Park obsession, it is a game where you have to go and capture dinosaurs.
Yes.
So I could see that being really good fun, and especially I think it's got online co-op. So if maybe I could persuade someone else to, it could go quite nicely.
So is it just two? Is it just co-op, or is it a group like?
It might be a group because I think the last DS one was a 4-player.
Oh,
so
wow.
you can. I think I'll have to check, but yeah. So that's got my attention at least, and if the winds blow right near the time, then hopefully I'll give that a double. Next one up is A Way Out, which was actually shown at E3 last year, and it's from the studio that brought us Brothers. That top-down cooperative game where two brothers made their way through mountains to try and find a cure for their parent. But this time they're doing a co-op narrative game featuring two people trying to break out of prison. So I can see this being a nice, again, a co-op, but this time a couch co-op adventure that Ali and I can probably play together. But given as I said, the pedigree of their previous game with Brothers, I've got high expectations with this, and seeing them give it a more visual treatment, take it to a different genre. I'm intrigued to see what they can do with it.
And when is that out? Do you know when is that quite soon?
He quickly jumps to the page he's got open and fills time. March. It's March time. End of March.
Okay.
So yes, when I'm not on the high seas, I might be breaking out of prison.
Awesome.
And then third on my list is God of War. Which is sometime, I think they're still being vague with this. It's down as a Q1 2018 release. And I've never really gotten on with the God of War series before. I thought the first one was interesting. It was a good fun hack and slash to simplify it down. But the longer the series went on, I think the more bored with the concept I became. So seeing them almost take a leaf out of Lara Croft's book and take it to a more open world, a more adventuring aspect, then I want to jump back in. I want to see what they can do, and if they do try and spin a tale of Kratos with his son, then that could be intriguing. It's not the reason I'm in it, but if they actually do create a good narrative with this father-son relationship about bringing him up to be, the man, the hunter that Kratos expects him to be, then that could help bolster hopefully what would be a good open world gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, Life is Strange 2.
Are we definitely getting that this year? Is that...
It's scheduled for this year.
Oh my god!
Whether that actually happens or not, I guess is touch and go. But I'm hopeful, and I'm actually, after the success of Before the Storm, I'm a bit more wary about a straight sequel.
Right.
Because I just want to know what they're going to do with it. I thought the prequel was a great idea. Remove Max, it's just Chloe, focus on someone new. It's more of a narrative game. Go for it.
Yeah.
But they've got a lot more baggage to cope with the end of this one. The start of this one, because of the end of Life is Strange. Because there were basically two ways the last story could go. Yep. And if they don't pick mine, I'm going to be grumpy. And I guess if they don't pick yours, you're going to be grumpy.
Yes.
So,
because mine was different to yours, wasn't it? That was kind of the only thing that we differed on that.
Yeah.
Or, yes. So exactly, how are they going to deal with that? I guess it's similar to Telltale, or whether they have to create... But it's almost two different games, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. At least with Mass Effect, the whole universe was exploding. It's you got some of your squad members back. Oh yeah, Bob, he's down the fish and chips. It's fine, he'll be back later. Or he died in your previous game and he'll be back. But so wary but hopeful for that one. And then my final game that I'm looking forward to is Kirby. The as yet untitled, unrevealed, unannounced, no one knows what's going on with it, but they say Kirby is in the works for the Switch. And usually I prefer the concept of Kirby to the actual games of Kirby, so I hope I hope this is an outlandish, weird Kirby.
Right.
Rather than the okay platformers that they do. So I just want something weird. I want something weird from this Kirby.
Oh, that was just... And especially kind of like looking on the Switch as well, but how it would look graphically as well. You know, it would just be... It could be lovely. It could be lovely. It could be a great
so
game.
shiny.
Yes. I did see today, when I was looking at Nintendo of America's Twitter page, that they announced some games for GDC, and one of them that's coming to the Switch is this Portal bridge construction.
Oh, aye.
Which is the bridge constructor, but it's in the Portal world.
Yes.
And that's going to be playable at GDC, which is March, for the Switch.
Interesting.
I was like, oh, perfect. That is just so perfect for that handheld.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because I've heard a couple of podcasts where they've been saying they're playing it, and it's a good bridge simulator, and it's a weird Portal tie-in, but it just about works together, as it were.
Yes. Oh, so I noticed that. So yes, so that's a really good list. That's a good. I guess apart from obviously Life is Strange, a lot of that is kind of the first half of the year, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So that should keep us going to the summer months, and I guess when you get past that September point, there's still talk of Anthem being this year. I hesitated from putting that anywhere near a list because I still don't think it's going to be touching down.
Yes.
But then again, we asked the other Sparks about what they wanted on their lists as well, and Steve gave us a list of Crackdown 3, which I do enjoy a good Crackdown, so I'm hoping this lives up to the name, and also Red Dead Redemption, which, referring again to last week, I'm sceptical whether I'll reach this year. But again, if it actually does come out, I think this will be a game that will be in most people's consoles on the lead up to Christmas.
Yes.
Matt said he was also interested in... Oh, God, I've minimised his window. What did he say he was interested in? Burnout. That was it. He was interested in the Burnout remaster that we will be talking about in a little while.
Right.
And when surveying money, he gave us 3 titles. He gave us at number 1, Red Dead. He gave us at number 2, Red Dead. And then at number 3, Red Dead. The Welsh boy wants himself some cowboys.
He's looking forward to some Red Dead.
Single track mind, that one.
His year is going to be ruined if they say, no, it's coming out in 2019.
I like to think he's saving himself. He's not going to play a single thing until that point.
No other game will be played on any console until Red Dead. Superb. That was fantastic. That was really good. There's some really good, like I say, it's always that way, isn't it, where you get a lot of kind of almost pre-E3 first half of the year because you don't know what's coming out, and then E3 is the kind of, yes, we have made it, we are going to be bringing it out at holiday, at Christmas, and then beyond that. So I just feel like we've kind of it's starting to becoming a really good month, and I do think that the kind of February, March, Aprils, and even into the summer are great months to release games because the amount of games that came out at the end of the year, you know, all of those kind of your Battlefronts, your Assassin's Creed, Call of Duties, and all of that, they kind of wash over the entire release schedule, so you don't really have time to kind of pick out these games like the ones that we're listing here, such as Monster Hunter, Spider-Man, Jurassic World Evolution. So it just having those out at the start of the year really gives them time to breathe and gives you time to appreciate and play and enjoy as well. Before getting back into the usual suspects, shall we say? Yes, indeed. Those yearly annual friends that come a knocking. So right, let's jump into the news. But before we get into the news, don't forget you can rate, review, and subscribe to this very podcast on iTunes and also on YouTube. So in the news section this week, the Vive is going pro. PlayStation start talking some numbers. We do love those numbers, and also new X. Oh, there's a graph as well. I think there's a graph. James, you're fine. You're good. And also new Xbox features are inbound. But the first piece of news, James, is with you. Yes, yeah, we're resurrecting the VR news desk for a brief moment, as HTC have announced the Vive Pro, their premium entry into the VR headset space. I think most of us knew this was eventually going to come, that after a couple of years there's always going to be a hardware upgrade, a revision to maybe make things cheaper or better. And thankfully, in this case, they've been making it better.
So the Pro has been announced that it will have dual OLED displays, which I think is an upgrade from just the LED ones from last time round. They've also upped the resolution on it. It was previously 2160 by 1200. It's now 2880 by 1600. So that's I can't remember what the graphic settings are, but it's usually that's a couple of notches up on what I try and set my monitor, so that must be good. It's also gone to 615 ppi, so that's 37% pixel density increase.
Wow.
And it also features the same field of view, so it's not stretching it out over any further distance. So that's a reasonable upgrade at most of the general specs it all. There's I think it's like 37% increase in the density and like 78% pixel increase. So to put it down to raw numbers, they're doing all right there.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good upgrade as well. And they've also started to announce that they've got headphones as well. There's a headphone connectivity, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. They've got integrated headphones with a built-in amplifier.
Right.
For the extra bullet point as well, they've redesigned the head strap to be more ergonomic and comfortable. They've redesigned the face pad so the nose strap blocks out more light. They've got dual microphones in it, active noise cancellation, and dual front-facing cameras.
Wow.
So I guess delving further into possibly AR space as well at that point in time. And they're hoping to get this out sometime later this year.
Yes, and they're also delving in with a wireless adapter, I read as well, because I think the headline was like HTC Vive goes wireless, with a huge caveat to that line. But yes, yes, but that's really good. I mean, the fact that that is a H. I mean, I think they had TP Cast previously, but this is just something. This is a HTC product that can help you kind of go wireless, and I think that for me is just a step in the right direction for VR.
Yeah, the nice thing about it as well is this wireless adapter will work with the Vive and the Vive Pro. So they are looking backwards as well as forwards, which is quite nice, considering we've seen some hardware VR manufacturers forget about the first gen adopters. But yeah, I think this is really good. They brought the wireless adapters in house. They're upgrading everything, and I think if they're sensible, possibly they might do the equivalent of an Apple and just maybe keep the price the same and just keep upping the specs every now and again. But we'll have to see where that lies in their business model.
So we've got no price point at the moment, and
correct. Yeah, they will basically say that the release date and the pricing details for the Pro and the wireless adapter will be unveiled soon. So I guess this is just the I think this must have come out of CES. And so it's just the showcase on stage, whet everyone's appetite, and then hit them in the wallet.
Nice. It looks. Is that the model that they've got? Is that the final build? The blue. It's kind of this nice. It's like a bluey colour, isn't it? It's quite a nice. Or is that just like a prototype build?
Do you know what? I don't know, because I've only seen the same probably press shots that you have as well, and I can't see if it's staged or whether it's just the rendering on it. But it does look like it could be black with on a weird light bouncing off it. But equally, it could be this really dark blue. But yes, I mean, it still looks like a VR headset that is this giant hulking thing on the front of your face. So it's as elegant as it could possibly be, but it does look like they've tried to at least upgrade the colour. I don't know whether the video shows you've got fascias that you can adapt to it, but it does look blue.
Right. Yeah. That's really cool. Actually, it was quite funny reading this article. Made me want to get my PlayStation VR out. Actually, I was like, I could do with getting, because at the moment it's all in this little case and it hasn't been out for ages. But I was like, I could do with getting some VR out.
Yes, I think that ship has sailed for me right now. Like,
yes,
I have my desktop PC has been packed away because I pretty much just use my Surface.
Right,
recording on that right now. And I just don't think I need the power. Like, most of the Steam games that I play are indie games, and if I'm going to play something beefy, I will probably play it downstairs on the Xbox or PlayStation. I have well gone past the point of wanting to spend a lot to stay on the cutting edge, because that gets expensive or outdated very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Xbox One X is doing a fantastic job, isn't it, of giving you kind of shiny and ease of use.
Yes, and that's
Yes.
that's the thing I will kill for. It's the ease of use.
Yes.
No installing, no patches. No, why isn't this working with this RAM?
Yes. No getting up to switch the disc. Superb. Right, the next piece of news is with me, and as I was saying, PlayStation have started to talk numbers, and the numbers that they were talking about was that they have announced their holiday figures. So what they said was that they have sold 5.9 million PlayStation 4 units were sold around the world during the quote-unquote holiday season. So this figure's kind of down slightly on last year, but really still very impressive. In a year where, we lauded over it last week, Nintendo Switch really is the one that was selling gangbusters, and I believe that they said that the Switch sold around about 4.8 million, but it's only selling that because it's hard to get hold of. But 5.9 million is kind of not a figure to be sniffed at. Microsoft haven't released numbers, unfortunately. I'd love to know how well the Xbox One X is selling. That's kind of the interesting one. And Sony are not breaking this out as well to like the PS4 Pro model. But so they sold 5.9 over the Christmas period, but they also said that they are now kind of on track or have passed the 70 million mark. So there's 70 million PlayStation 4s that are out there.
Blimey.
And over the Christmas break, they sold 55.9 million games were sold during holiday 2017.
So is there have they put a split between what is selling as the PlayStation and what is selling as the PlayStation Pro?
No, that's the one thing I wish they'd done. Say, right, we've sold this many of this, because I'd be really interested to see, especially a lot more people last year, it was always kind of a lot of people were scoffing at these Pros or the Xbox One X because they didn't have a 4K TV. And I think once people start getting the 4K TV, which is becoming more and more popular now, if you're getting a new TV, you might as well get a 4K one because it's probably all you could get right now. And then so people then start putting these consoles on. They have that TV, they then put a console underneath it, which is the correct way to do it. And now they're kind of seeing the benefit. So I'd really like to know what that X and Pro ratio is for those consoles sold. So we have so Sony have said that they sold 55.9 million games, which brings the total PS4 game sales up to 645 million games have been sold on a PlayStation 4.
That's great, because that's basically about 9.5 games per PlayStation, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So I think that's, from my very basic knowledge of the hardware industry, that's a really good attach rate.
It really is. It just, I think they're just doing it so well. But like I say, unfortunately, Microsoft are quite kind of tight-lipped about all of this, about their sales figures. So we can't really kind of get a comparison. But the gaming's just doing so well based on that. I was just trying to work out. So what have we got? We've got, so if we divide that by 70. So you're right. We've got about 9 games attach rate at the moment to those 70 million PlayStation 4s. Yeah,
it's impressive. And I guess Microsoft, if they had sold more than 70 million, would definitely be saying so. But yeah, I think it's like we were talking about, was it last week? Or was it? It's probably a couple of pods ago. But the Pro and the Xbox One X, I still think are interesting hardware pitches.
Yes.
Because for people like you and me who like shiny things and don't know when not to use the credit card, they are instant buys. They are items that will appear beneath the telly, and we will merely try and hide them from our better halves. But then I know friends with 1080 tellies who really can't be bothered to get a 4K telly, but are in the market for an Xbox or a PlayStation because they want to get the other one, as it were.
Yeah. And
it's an interesting discussion to have to them. It's like, well, yeah, you could get a Pro or you could get an Xbox One X to future-proof yourself, but is it worth those extra couple of hundred? And I think from what you're saying earlier, then maybe it is. But equally, I'm almost half the time I'm saying, like, well, if you've got one console, get a 4K telly, because you'll probably get as much use out of that as you will a different hardware platform.
Absolutely. I think for me, I think the what I saw with the Xbox One X is more evident than it was on the PlayStation 4, because the PlayStation 4 Pro, I plugged that into my TV, and Horizon Zero Dawn didn't look. It looked like it was downgraded from the 4K TV, so it didn't look like it was doing that kind of extra processing. But absolutely, if you're going to buy a brand new console now, I would go for that. My boss kind of sent me a message before Christmas saying, I want to buy this or a friend's asking what they should buy, and my instant question was, do they have a 4K TV? Do they have any of these? But I said, for the extra, I don't know what it was at Christmas, it might have been an extra £90 or something. I said, you're better off going for the PlayStation 4 Pro or the Xbox One X, because it's just, like I say, it's the newer model, so you're kind of future-proofing yourself. And if you ever did get a 4K TV, then straight away your catalogue has been kind of upgraded to that as well. So yeah, it is an interesting pitch.
Yeah, but fair play. I think it's, no matter what happens, the more consoles that are in the market, the stronger the industry is right now. So, huzzah.
Exactly. So Nintendo sold 4.8 million in the United States alone, which has put them up to 10 million units around the world. So there's 10 million. There's 10 million Switches out there as well. So 70 million PlayStation 4s, 10 million Switches, and that's not bad. That's not bad considering it was hard to get hold of.
Yeah. I'm sure someone said that the Switch is the fastest selling Nintendo console now as well. So
it is. Yeah.
It's probably, I can't remember, was it 13 or 14 million the Wii U sold? So it's almost blown that out of the water already.
Yeah, I think they're projecting because we haven't even had a year yet, have we, of the Switch?
No, that came out in March time.
It did.
2 weeks in March, I think it was.
Yes. Because I remember I bought Nicola one for her birthday, because I had two at launch, just in case Amazon or Game messed up. And so I gave that. So Nicola's birthday is the end of March. So yeah, so it must have been the first week in March. So I think Nintendo are projecting that this is going to do better than the Wii.
Yes, yeah, good stuff.
So next piece of news, sir, is with you.
Yes, and Matt touched upon it earlier with his most anticipated games of 2018, and it is the continued rumours that Burnout Paradise is coming back with a remaster.
Oh, yes.
So Burnout Paradise originally was released by Criterion back in 2008. So fittingly, it would be the 10-year anniversary. And there have been multiple reports this year about a HD re-release in March, a busy time for all the quality game releases this year. So there's been reports on Brazil about what do they call it, a rating popping up. There's been something on a retailer site as well. But last night, the reliable Gematsu reported on a Japanese retailer listing for Burnout Paradise HD Remaster, title tentative, coming out mid-March for 4104 yen, so about £26. So quite a reasonable price as well. And I am very much looking forward to this. If this is actually true, if this is coming out, Burnout is one of my favourite games from like the Xbox / early 360 era. I can still remember having Burnout 3, Burnout Takedown just on in the living room because of the soundtrack going round around on the pause menu. Yeah, they did something that I think a lot of other racing games have still failed to do in the intervening 10 years. Because people like me who really prefer like the Forza Horizon style of play, where you are just bumbling around in an open world, looking for things to do possibly other than racing, like it really scratched that itch. Burnout, where you could just, what's the worst takedown you can do? What's the biggest smash you can make? Those highway cross-section intersection puzzles where you had to try and cause the biggest pile-up ever. It might have been in bad taste, but it was some of the best puzzling that you could play on a games console. It took pages out of other games and then rewrote them just with four wheels. It was good. It was so good, and I am very, very happy if this comes out, because if we're talking about getting together simply because Horizon does a 4K patch, we need to spend our summer playing Burnout as far as I'm concerned.
That's it, we're sorted. So did they didn't have online, didn't they, for Burnout? They didn't have an online mode.
I think they did.
Oh right, okay.
I think so, because this was like 2008, so we were well into the 360 Xbox Live era by that point. and I'm sure there was I'm sure you could challenge other people to races.
Right.
Like, I mean, this is stretching the mind at this point, but yeah, they must do.
Maybe you could invite people in, because I always remember with Burnout Paradise, where you could smash billboards. You had to go around and smash different billboards and do jumps, similar to kind of now what you have to do in Forza Horizon. It's that kind of finding the billboard and smashing the billboard. It was so much fun. And I always remember the Guns N' Roses song as well when you first start playing that game.
Yes,
it was so good. Headphones on, listening to that. That was just that was fantastic.
Yeah,
so I'm just still trying to think if there was on there, because I remember there was a game called Test Drive where you were on an island.
Unlimited. That was set in Hawaii or somewhere like that.
It really was. That was so cool. I love that. And you could flash people, couldn't you? And then you could race.
Oh yes,
and they flashed you back. Yes.
Oh, I love touches like that. Touches that actually use the world and, I guess, natural gestures within it to start experiences, rather than going to go to a menu, going to do this. Come join me. But yeah, that was lovely at the time.
Yes, it was really cool. But oh god, yeah, I can't. So did you say that they had a date for this? Had a date on this website, or is
the guess is mid-March?
Right.
So but interestingly though, it's Burnout Paradise is still available on backwards compatibility. So the sensible part of me would just boot that back up and play it. But shiny, shiny.
I wonder how shiny. I wonder if they're talking 4K HDR shiny, or they're just talking it's going to look a little bit nicer. Because things like Wipeout have had the 4K patch and things like that.
Yeah, I guess it depends what treatment they're going to do with it, because I guess it was built on was it? I don't know if it was 1080. Like a game like that almost screams like it'd be 720/60.
Yes. Like
an open world game like that, especially early on in the dev cycle. So yeah, I'd be interested to see if they're remaking it or just tweaking the output, or because that will probably say whether it's going to be a good 4K game or not. Like, if they're redoing the textures, then you'd hope for a 4K model. But
wow, well, they're just doing file save as.
Yeah, for 25 quid, you think it's just going to be 1080p and trussed up with a new set of achievements. But yeah.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good. New achievements as well. That would be quite. So
hitting those billboards for a second time.
Exactly. You got to have new achievements on a remake. You got to have, if it's a remake, surely that's a separate game. That's a new game. Oh, and if this is released in 2018, can it be part of the Game of the Year discussion?
Well, I'll meet with the other Thomas brother and we can decide.
You'll meet with the committee and we can decide. Now, does this mean, in more seriousness, does this mean that they're potentially making another Burnout Paradise game or another Burnout game?
No. Because Criterion got folded into making the Need for Speed series.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I can't see Burnout coming back anytime soon, because I'm sure one of the Need for Speeds tried to be a Burnout.
Right.
But I just don't know whether maybe this is them testing the water. I mean, I hope so. If they flip-flop between Need for Speed and Burnout, then maybe that could be their version of Forza and Forza Horizon.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I started playing the. I downloaded it when I was downloading all those games over the weekend. I downloaded The Crew. You know what Matt was talking about last week. So it's just like, because I was just when I was saying about that, I was thinking that maybe Forza Horizon 4 would be set in the US, and he was saying, "Well, you should play The Crew." So I had a quick go of it and a quick play, and it was good fun. It didn't look very good, but it was it's really good fun. I could see why Matt likes it, and I did notice on that list, and I'll stick a link in the show notes of the 50 most exciting games that are coming out so far, that The Crew 2 was listed on there as well.
And what, sorry, the back compat list?
No, The Crew 2. You know, on the list that you've got of all the new games that are coming out in 2018, that there's a sequel to The Crew.
This is how much attention I've paid to any crew that isn't got... I think I remember seeing The Crew at Gamescom one year, and remembered they were very loud, and that's my residing memory of them. So
it really is just like, yo, dude, bros, come on, and it was just It really made me laugh, but I was just like, played it for probably about 15 minutes, had a couple of races, and I think you were racing around Chicago, and I was like, oh, this is very cool. But I noticed that San Francisco weren't on there, so I was like, if I can get to New York, have a bit of a race around, that would be cool, and then I'll just turn it off. So it was really good. So yes, so Burnout Paradise Remake, hopefully we'll have some more news on that in the coming weeks.
Grant, and I believe the final news story that we have this week is with you.
It is indeed, and that is that there could be potentially a new gamer score model that will reward players coming to Xbox. So Polygon had an article this week which was about, and I'll read from the article saying that Microsoft is reportedly working on a new achievement system for the Xbox, which, according to Windows Central, the new career system will sit alongside the current gamer score program, and it will reward points to players for completing certain in-game goals, and they will offer limited time achievement points as well. So it will just keep collecting these points and then reward people things through loot crates, basically. It will then just say, right, you've reached level 5, here's a loot crate of, and it will give you some chopsky that you can add to your avatar. So Microsoft hasn't confirmed this, though there was some Windows Central reports that the company is actively committing code and other systems to support this functionality. And I believe that Mikey Ibarra, who is the VP of the Xbox program, was talking about this, and also that there was supposed to be new avatars that were coming out with the update that we had last year, but that kind of new avatar system got pulled and got for a later update. So basically this is also for a feature for people that play just that one game. So you've got esports guys who are playing Overwatch, they're playing Halo, and they tend to just stick into one game. This is going to reward them, because as you level up in Forza or level up in Overwatch, you will also level up in this new career system as well. So the achievement hunting gamer, such as my brother-in-law Brad, he will get rewarded. He will get rewarded because of his achievement level. But also that's my nephew, who maybe just plays Call of Duty, he will also get rewarded because he's leveling up in that game as well. So I quite like the idea of this. This almost like it's a running alongside. It's a parallel achievement system, which it could be quite interesting. It could be something fresh for the achievement score. Yeah,
because I'm sure they touted this a few months back, didn't we? Because I swear I remember us talking about this, and I guess it goes to show that this needed to evolve, because we just spoke about Burnout Paradise being, will they re-release the achievements? Like, the achievements have been around for a decade now.
Yes,
and that initial impact, that initial change to, I think, how a few of us play, or even how a few of the developers altered in-game actions, because I love achievements that will actually try and make me play in different ways or explore new areas, push me through. Mm-hmm. I mean, some may say like you shouldn't need that to get the most out of the game, but it's everyone has their own little incentive.
Yes,
and so if you can then supplement the here are 50 things to do with the actually you will get rewarded, as you say, for your nephew just like obsessively playing Call of Duty. It's like, okay, cool. It's giving him a reason to push on beyond that as well.
Yes.
Even if he's flagging, if he needs a little incentive, it's like going, okay, there's a new achievement, there's a new career thingy just on the horizon. That can give you a bit of a lift to push you through.
Absolutely, and especially as you'll then have something to show off on your dashboard, with your avatar to say, I've now reached level 50 of game X, and maybe the developer didn't code any achievements there for getting that high. Normally you get kind of the first couple of achievements, and then first couple of levels, mid, and then the highest you can go. But if that wasn't coded in, then that just kind of gives you something for that to show off, and that's what a lot of people like. And I always liked the avatars on the Xbox 360. I loved that. I always thought they were great, just standing there, and you could see everyone's personality just being applied to their avatar. So seeing that this is potentially coming back, and I know there was an image of what the new avatars looked like, and they looked like they were a next-gen avatar. They looked very kind of realised. They looked almost Pixar-like. So to see that, and then to see that kind of awarded with these extra things that you're picking up in your career, sounds like it could be a really good incentive. Because I'm exactly the same as what you were saying. I do like if I'm playing a game and something I'll get onto in a moment, but if I'm playing a game and I've finished the career mode or I've finished the story and I haven't quite finished it yet and I want to play some more, then the achievements are my next checkbox.
Yeah.
That's my, I'm playing Mario as well, Mario Odyssey, and there is an achievement system in there where you go to Toadette in the castle, and one of them was you need to unlock every single outfit in every single world. So that then got me going back to each of the worlds, collecting the purple coin so I could then buy all of the outfits in each of the worlds. So that gave me that incentive, and that's the way that I play once I've finished that game. So I'm totally with you there. I really do like the way that the achievements give you that. And as I was saying, that there is more updates are coming. We know that Microsoft kind of keep updating and iterating on their dashboards, but one of the updates that's coming, it will actually show you what your nearest next achievements are. So it will span across all your games, and as you know, whenever you're playing a game that is maybe like unlock 100 of these, it will actually give you a progress bar. And when you've been playing that game and maybe working to more towards that achievement, it will actually show you the progress you made that gaming session. So one of the updates that's going to be rolling out, and some of these updates are rolling out to alpha members of the alpha ring right now, is that you'll be able to see where your nearest next achievements are. So it's like, okay, here's 5 games. You're quite close to these achievements on those 5 games, and from that hub or from that achievement screen, you'll be able to just dive straight into that game as well. So you can just look at that and go, right, okay, what do I want to play tonight? Look at that. You see that you're 10,000 Lego bricks away from getting Ultimate Jedi or whatever it is on that game. So you could just jump into that game and start playing that. So I really like that. I think that's a really good. It's realising that achievements do still matter, and just updating the system to really kind of help people kind of work towards that as well.
Yeah, it's good. I think anything that can do to reinvigorate it is good. But I mean, I don't like the trophy system. I mean, you can almost see that Sony went for a different system just to give them some separation. But whilst the platinum trophy, I think the platinum trophies are cool, but having this concept of level based on I don't know what. No. That's like, so if like the 100%ed games, like that's why I went back and went out my way for Hitman over Christmas. I wanted to play the new content, but I also wanted to make sure I got 100% of the Chivos that came out for it. So it would be nice if there was some way of acknowledging those as well.
Yes.
But that sounds cool. Sounds cool.
Sony have started rolling out a reward system in the US, haven't they? Where they give you monetary value based on your platinums. I think you get like $1 or something for a platinum, which doesn't seem like much. I'd rather than having $1, I'd rather it be some Microsoft like PlayStation points or something like that you could then redeem back, because. Same with on the Xbox as well. I'm always surprised every now and then that I go in and I've got Microsoft points that or money that has been just credited to my account because of this. Microsoft do that. If you buy digital games or you've done some quests, they actually reward you cash. So you go to buy a game and it says, "Oh, do you want to spend your Microsoft money first?" And then you can then put your real money to it. And I'm always like surprised by that. So tying that to maybe achievements or trophies would be quite nice as well.
Yeah.
So more updates are coming. They've also added a do not disturb mode, which is quite funny, which is great, which is a really good mode to add. If you're playing a game, you don't want to be disturbed, you don't want your friends going, do you want to come and play Burnout Paradise, or do you want to come and play Forza Horizon? You can then just say, pop up a sign that says do not disturb.
But I'm intrigued to find out what they're doing with this, because I just used to make myself appear offline. Like, this is a system I've been using for years. Just if I want to go on and just sit there without invites coming in, it's like, yep, I'm not here. As far as the internet's concerned, I am offline.
Yes. So it must just, it's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's is that kind of buried deep in menus now, like offline mode?
It's deeper. Yeah, I remember before on the 360 you could get to it like 3 presses.
Yes.
So yeah, I can't. It's one of these that I know with muscle memory where to get to it, but I couldn't explain to you where it is.
See, I quite like it. We do this at work. We have an instant message system at work where if you're doing a document or you just need to focus for a while, you just set it to do not disturb, and it cuts down your telephone. No one can call you on the phone. No one can message you, and I quite like that. So if you are playing a game, then you can do that. I noticed at the weekend we started doing our countdown to Infinity War by watching all of the Marvel movies, one a week, and it takes us dead on to the Infinity War. So it was Iron Man, and I had a look around all of the content. I looked around Amazon, Netflix, and Sky, and none of them had Iron Man. So I had to dig out the Blu-ray. So I put it into my Xbox, and as I was doing it, like people were coming online, and you were getting some messages. So you're sitting there watching a movie, and every now and then you just get this pink noise, and then obviously showing you that people was online. But I did find out in the menu afterwards that you can actually turn that off during movie play. So you can say like no notifications while you're watching a movie.
I might try and look in for that one. Yeah, that sounds good.
Because otherwise you just get there just like Chessman's online, like just go away. It's just while you're deep into
moving emotional scene.
Yes. Yeah, so it's like Chessman's online. But yeah, so next up on that is Incredible Hulk. So, which I wanted to skip, but we have to watch it.
Completionist. There we go.
Yes, to be pure. So you got the Do Not Disturb, other features that are also coming this year. I'm just scanning down. I'll put a link to this Xbox Wire article. There's going to be mini game hubs around the games as well, which we kind of have, but they're just going deeper into that. They're tweaking some community features as well, which will make it easier for you to comment and to view comments. And also, one thing that I really liked, the final thing, is that they're putting themes on a schedule. So you'll be able to switch between light and dark themes based on a day. So during the daytime, you can have light white background, and then at night, you can then change it to a dark black background if you want. So I quite like that. That's quite nice.
No, I guess that's matching with phones and PCs and tablets everywhere, I guess.
It really is, yes. But I don't want my Xbox kind of making me sleepy. Playing Life is Strange, I don't want to be sleepy. But yeah, so that's it. So there's obviously more updates when we're coming out of the year, but this is the first New Year update. So it's, like I say, it's coming out to the Alpha Insider program at the moment, and then it will just ripple out to the other rings over the next couple of weeks.
Cool. I think I'm subscribed on one of the levels. I can't remember what, so I will, keep an eye for those ones.
Yes, it's quite nice when you get an update. Something's new. I need to do something. I need to do a quest because I like those quests. I think they're quite cool.
I got obsessive about the quests for a while. It's like, yes, I will fill in your feedback to get this 10 XP to make this circle go round. It's like,
yes, it's always,
what am I doing with my life?
We're just testers, aren't we? It's just like.
Just basically rats in a maze has to run around this circle.
Superb, and then that's it. It's been quite a slim. Everyone's just getting back to work, aren't they? They're just getting back to work, and the news is just trickling in.
Yes, I'm sure we can try and pump the studios for some more next week.
Exactly. So that's about it. Big thank you for listening. James, thank you very much for pulling up on mic.
Pleasure as ever.
Excellent stuff. Don't forget you can keep up with us at gamersoflostspark.com. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, we're Lost Spark Pod. You can find us on YouTube, and also the Gamers Lost Spark PS4 community and Xbox One Club. James, where can people catch up with you?
You can find me at Big Sheep on Twitter, Xbox Live, PSN and Nintendo.
Excellent stuff. For me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch, PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and Chessman UK on Twitter. Don't forget, if you have any feedback, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamerslostspark.com. Thank you very much. That's about it. We'll talk to you next week, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.